All right. So, is everyone all right? Any problem? No?
Whatever.
All right, great. So you are ready to start? Please say yes if you're ready. All right, great. I'm glad to see it. Okay. So in the last time we studied my research paper. Okay, my research paper. Corporate venture capital and real options. Okay, two concepts we combined in this paper. Okay, so corporate venture capital is the money invested in startups by corporations, and real option is two-stage or multiple stage decision making. So in the real option, the first stage, you make a small total investment, okay? And you collect more information at that point, and then when you're ready to make a better decision, then you go, all right? This is a real option perspective. So based on these understandings, we talked about the research setting, okay? So at the beginning of the decision making, corporate investors can make CBC or other groups of strategy. All right. So CBC has a very special characteristics. Okay? CBC, you can wait and collect more information. Okay, then you make forward. You can make eventual decision afterwards. Okay? So CBC can be used as a real options. That is my perspective in this paper. Other strategies, acquisitions, okay, alliances, licensing, these are just one-time decision making. So you make a contract with this strategy, then done, all right? Done. Okay? So just one-time decision making. So that is a big difference between CBC and other types of strategy. So at the second stage, okay, in the first stage, if you make a CBC investment, you have a second stage decision making. You can go licensing, alliances, acquisitions, or you just discard that investment. Okay, that's it. This is the framework we're talking about. So based on this framework, I have some hypotheses. Okay? Everyone is with me? Are you with me? Okay. So we studied this paper in the last week. Okay? So we are going to continue this paper, and then we conclude this paper and move to another paper. Okay? So the first hypothesis, think about that. Firms possessing weaker scientific capabilities are more likely to make CBC investment rather than other strategy. Okay. Is it making sense for you? Hypothesis 1. Anyone can comment on it? Is it making sense for you? Firms possessing, so investors, if investors have weaker scientific capabilities, then they choose CBC. Why? Spence, can you comment on it? Why? It makes sense for you. Why, Spence? Anyone can talk about this. Okay. Hypothesis 1A. Why? It makes sense. Why?
Would it be because if they have the weaker scientific capabilities, it gives them sort of an intro to what it'd be, and it makes it easier for them to just get into it versus and they can further their scientific capabilities, I guess, versus
All right, great check.
jumping into it.
All right, good point. Think about that. Corporate investors have a weaker scientific capabilities. That means they don't know very well about that technology, external technology, startups technology, right? Then they need what? They need more information because they don't know. Okay, so they choose CVC rather than other strategy. If they choose other strategies, okay, they have to make decisions, big decisions, without knowing very well. Okay? It's not good. Okay, that's why corporate investors, okay, possessing weaker scientific capabilities, they tend to delay important decisions. Okay, all right. Then they cannot just delay. Okay, they need to do something. Okay, with delaying it. So they make CVC investments. Okay? Then they have good relationship with the startups. Okay? And they collect more information about the technology. When they are ready, that means uncertainty is low, then they make important decisions. Okay? This is the logic behind this hypothesis. All right. The second hypothesis, firms assessing distant technologies. It is very similar logic, okay, and more likely to make a serious investment relative to other strategy. So distant technology means, okay, corporate investors, my technology is far from the external technology developed by startups. Okay? So it's the same thing. If the technologies are very far from mine, then I don't know very well either about the technology. So it's the same situation with the weaker scientific capabilities. Okay, so corporate investors need more time to make decisions, need more information. Okay, so they make CVC rather than other strategy. Okay, so hypothesis 1A and 1B actually shares the similar logics. Okay? Hypothesis 2, firms they are focusing their R&D effort on late-stage technologies. Okay? This hypothesis is a little bit about the biotechnology space. Okay? So late-stage technologies are more likely to make CVC investment rather than other strategy. So think about that. Research stream, okay? In the biopharmaceutical industry, okay? It takes almost 10 years to develop a single drug. So they have long research stream, okay? And this, in hypothesis 2, corporate investors have focused on late-stage technology means. That means late-stage technologies, they have many products that can be in the market very soon. Okay? All right? So far, so good. Then, to maintain this research stream, they have many products in the late stage. They have to fill up some products in the early stage. Then they can continue these research streams, right? Huh? So the early stage products means okay, they have some time to invest it. Okay. Also, because it's far from the present time, just now, it's not now, so it has a uncertainty. Okay. It's far from now. So the early stage products is a high uncertainty. Okay. So high uncertainty, and they have some time to wait, and then they're gonna choose CVC rather than other strategy. That makes sense? All right, great. Okay. Sam, any question? Comment? So far, so good? All right. Then hypothesis 3. Hypothesis 3. Okay. When low, this is about the second stage. So you already made CVC investments. Okay. Then based on the previous CVC investment, you have to go forward or not in the second stage. So hypothesis 3 is about the second stage, when low technological uncertainty is combined with high valuation of the portfolio firm's underlying technology. So portfolio firm's technology is proved is good, all right? It's promising. And low uncertainty, okay? Uncertainty is resolved. Then what are you gonna do? Okay. Low uncertainty, technology is good, then you're gonna internalize it, all right? You're gonna internalize that technology. So that is hypothesis 3. So how internalize it? Licensing or acquisition, something like that. But based on my research, in the biopharmaceutical industry, there are a lot of licensing contracts to internalize external technology rather than other types of strategy. So that's why I made hypothesis 3 like this. All right. Then hypothesis, okay. Can I move? Okay. So based on the understanding about hypothesis, so your story part is done. Okay. So we understand this story, right? Story of this paper. Then empirical setting, okay. Corporate investors, portfolio firms in the biopharmaceutical industry. Okay. Then these are variables I use to use the numbers, empirics. So depend variable. So we are talking about the probability of choosing CBC versus other types of strategy, right? So depend variable can be servo-hazard of CBC, servo-hazard of license post CBC in the second stage. So first stage, we are looking at the probability of CBC. Okay. In the second stage, we are looking at the probability of license. Okay. But this time, I don't want you confuse this. So I just focus on the first stage in the empirics. Okay. Just first stage. In the first stage, we are looking at the probability of choosing CBC. Right. So this is a dependent variable. And independent variables can be scientific capability and technological distance. These are consistent with this. Okay. This is independent variable. This is also independent variable. Our dependent variables are probability of CBC. Okay. So far so good. So independent variables and dependent variables.
Dr. Tom,
All right, go ahead.
is it the probability that they choose CVC, or is it the probability that CVC it works, or it like works for that company? Is it just the probability that they choose to go the CVC route?
Yes, the only the probability of they choose CVC, because this first in the first stage we don't know actually CVC is successful or not.
Okay.
We don't care about it. All right. So the probability of choosing CVC in the first stage. Okay. All right. Then this is the tables, the regression tables. Okay. The reason I introduced this table is very simple. In your future job, probably the entry level, you won't have a chance to look at this kind of very highly skillful number oriented things. Okay, but when you go up, so you have to deal with this kind of information. Okay? So I assume you already learned business statistics in your previous classes. So this is very traditional regression table. Okay, So how to read this table? These are individual and independent mothers. So we have 7 mothers in this table. Okay, this one is just each mother. These are independent. My dependent variable is presented like this. So first stage, probability of choosing CBC. I just say first. Okay, choosing CBC. These are the list of independent variables. Okay, so investor scientific capability and technological distance are independent variables, and some other variables are control variables. Control variables. Okay, then investors' scientific capability impact. Okay, this is a regression coefficient. It's negative and significant. Okay, it's negative and significant. So negative relationship between investor scientific capability and CBC. So weaker scientific capability means higher probability of CBC because it's a negative relationship. Okay, all right. Conversely, higher scientific capabilities, lower probability of CBC. So this is consistent with my hypothesis 1A. All right. Then I say, oh, this is supportive. Okay. This is basically how you read the regression table. And then look at this, technological distance. Technological distance. It has a regression coefficient in model 5. In model 5, I include all the variables. Okay? So that's why I focus on model 5. So this technological distance has positive and significant regression coefficient. That means technological distance has a positive relationship with the probability of choosing CBC. Technological distance high, and the probability of choosing CBC high. So it is consistent with hypothesis 1B. All right. Okay, great. All right, so let's go back to hypotheses. Yes, these 2 hypotheses. So weaker scientific capabilities, high CBC. High distance technologies, high CBC. So these 2 hypotheses are supported by my data. That's pretty much about the NPX. I just want to talk about this, the first stage, first 2 hypotheses in the NPX, because the second things, it can be confused. So this is, okay, another regression, exactly same setting, same thing, but I use different techniques because there are many types of regressions. Okay, many types, because each regression has its own advantage and disadvantage. Okay? So that's why people use this one and that one to make something complementary, better estimations. Okay, so I use panel data linear regression here, the same, right? Negative and positive, same support. Okay, so my conclusion is, okay, my hypothesis are supportive. So I conclude like this. This is flow of this paper, the story part and empirics part, number part. Okay, so now based on this, our understanding, are we better off by having a real option perspective in strategy? Yes, why not? Okay. So real option perspective actually provides chance to use more informations, better informations to make decisions. And managers and policymakers may need to perceive how different types of strategy interact with each other. So CBC and other types of strategy. So far, many researchers just were seeing that these strategies are independent. Okay? They didn't link between CBC and other types of strategy. But in this paper, we combine this and then, CBC is working like this to attract other types of strategy. Okay, so make a, highlight a clear relationship between CBC and other types of strategy. Okay, so this is pretty much about the paper. How about now? Better? Okay, so you have a better sense of the paper. Okay, I believe. All right, thank you, Jack. I believe that you the level of understanding is much better than the for the first time. Okay? So let's go back to the second question. So first question is done. Okay. Any question? Comment? Okay. The second one, discuss how a real option approach contributes to achieve competitive advantage, reduce cost, and increase product differentiations. All right, go ahead. Anyone can start your discussions, your team discussions. Okay. All right, second question, real option approach helps to achieve competitive advantage, reduce cost, and increase product differentiations. Do you think so? Please tell us your perspective, any of your ideas, any of your team discussions. All right, who's going to start? You can just introduce your team discussions.
You could say that it reduces cost because you're getting in the initial stages. The CBC approach is cheaper because you're getting into the initial stages. You're not outright going a different. Whereas you go a different approach, you're already in the decision, and things down the road could affect the company. But if you get an initial CBC, you're in, and then you can see how it goes, and then you make decisions based off of that, which can reduce your future costs, I guess, in the long run.
Exactly. For corporate investment. For corporate investment.
Yes, sir.
Yes. All right. That makes sense. Okay. So, in the real option approach, corporate investors use efficiently and effectively for future information they will collect through CBC investment. Okay. So, this information can reduce costs a lot. Think about that. 10 years of product development process in the biopharmaceutical industry. Okay? $1 billion average cost, okay, throughout this process. Then if they make a wrong decisions, not a good decision, then they spend a lot of money. They waste a lot of money. All right? And they can reduce costs, okay, using this approach. In your ordinary life too, dating and marrying, okay? If you choose a wrong person in your life, then you waste a lot of time and cost, right? Okay? So that's why you use real option approach, okay? Dating and marrying, okay? All right, good point. Anything else? Any other comment? This is a very open question, so any perspective, any idea can be welcome. Sam, go ahead.
In the real option theory, it's like it takes into account time. So if the market isn't right, or if it's overpriced at the moment, you can wait and buy it at a cheaper price later on. So that'd be one way that you could reduce costs.
Yes, this is exactly related with the last hypothesis. So the real option approach, is a timing things. Okay, timing. Other strategies, acquisitions, license, it's a one-time decision. But real options you can adjust the timing of your decisions. Okay, so the uncertainty is usually new technology has high uncertainty for the first time. And this uncertainty can be resolved as time goes by. Sometimes this technology turns out is good. Sometimes it's not good. All right. So this timing. So when you make a better decision in the perfect time, you can choose it in the real option approach. So this can be helpful to achieve product differentiations, better product, better development. And also, based on Jack Sam's comments, a real option approach can reduce cost and also increase product differentiations. Then you achieve competitive advantage. You are doing better than others. So we are going to talk about this framework again and again throughout the semester. So this question is a central idea, central framework of strategy management. Okay, so we will talk about competitive advantage, reduce cost, and increase product differentiations. The framework, the fundamental framework in strategy management is very, very simple. If you reduce cost, increase product differentiations, then you can achieve competitive advantage. You are doing better than others. Okay. Once again, if you reduce cost, increase product differentiations, you increase this gap between this cost and product differentiation, then you achieve competitive advantage. You are doing better than others. Okay. And throughout the semester, we'll talk about these things again and again. Why we are talking about environment? Because I want to reduce cost. I want to increase product differentiation. I want to achieve competitive advantage. Why we are talking about formulation of a strategy? We want competitive advantage. Why we are talking about implementation of strategy? Because I want to achieve competitive advantage. So we will talk about this framework again and again. Okay? All right. So this is pretty much about the first paper. So any question, comments before moving to the next paper? All right. Thank you, Preston. All right. Great. Okay. So let's move to the next one. Next paper. So you're supposed to read the next paper today. So this is the second paper. Who create jobs, venture capital, research grants, and regional employment in the US. I believe this paper is much simpler than the previous one. All right, see this paper. This paper is talking about our jobs. Okay, our jobs. All right, and this paper is published in Industry and Innovation, which is pretty reputational journal. Okay, and my co-authors are Edelman is MIT guy. He is MIT professor, and David Koo, he's a Georgia Tech professor. Okay, so we actually enjoyed this paper a lot. Actually, the first version first version of this paper was published in Medical Device Journal, the medical journal, and this is the second version because in the previous version, okay, actually our idea is, oh, think about that. We can think in this way too. Then we can change models, and actually that model was better working. So that's why we worked on the second version of this paper. Okay, so this paper is very simple. Okay, because we talk about empirics, the dependent variable is what? Jobs, number of jobs. Independent variables are two types of money. Okay? The first one is public money, something like research grants. And second independent variable is venture capital, private money. Okay? So basically, this paper is talking about how private capital, public capital impact the number of jobs. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. All right, then there are three questions. What is the story about? Please share the story with your team. Okay, and discuss the paper in the concepts of competitive advantage, reduce cost, increase productive transition. Same question, exactly. Then one more specific question. If you were authorized to allocate financial resources, what would you do? Okay, you are responsible to resource all of this money. Okay, then what are you going to do? Okay, clear? So you will discuss these questions, okay, with your team. All right. So as we did before, I'm going to create breakout rooms. Okay? And we have 5 teams. And I'm going to give you 15 minutes too this time. Okay. All right, so if you are ready, please go ahead, join your breakout rooms to meet with your team, then discuss these 3 questions. Please go ahead. I'm going to mute my microphone for your discussion.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. So 50 minutes was okay? Was 50 minutes okay? All right, okay. So unfortunately, time is almost over. So we are gonna finish 12:50. So we don't have enough time to continue this. So we're gonna continue this paper with these questions on Friday. Okay. So we're gonna talk about these questions on Friday, and we are complete. We are done. Okay. This paper on Friday. Okay? On Monday, next week, we're gonna start a new chapter, chapter 1 and 2. Okay, so on Monday, okay, to start a new chapter, you are supposed to read the chapter in advance. Then you are supposed to submit your chapter case. Okay, you can submit the chapter case on Canvas. Okay, and then during the class, we are gonna start with the rumor case. Okay, then we will cover chapter 1 and 2 in the next week. Okay, and the second thing I want to emphasize is your capstone. Your captain simulations. It's not an easy game. It's not a randomly determine your performance. Okay, there's very specific orders and specific things you should learn from the simulations. Okay, so please start that game simulation as soon as possible. Okay, it will be helpful for your performance. Okay, so any question, comments before moving? All right, so you did a great job. Okay, I love your performance today. Okay, so I will see you on Friday. All right, you're free to go.
Have a good one, Dr. Kong.
All right, thank you so much, Jack. You did a great job.